Hey guys, what's up? I am Rafael Reich, and today, before we do some discussion over the new cards of Infinity Forbidden, before we even discuss about the Fiendsmith stuff, I feel like everyone right now on the Yu-Gi-Oh community is discussing about how bad they are feeling for the new format, for the new cards we are getting in Infinity Forbidden. So I want to give to you all my 2 cents about how I would fix this format, because everyone is complaining about how the game is gonna become almost unplayable, and I feel like just a banlist right now can be able to make everyone want to play this game again. So with that in mind, please already give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let's start with this banlist. So I just went for tier maker and I got a random template of banlist. So there were some cards there that I feel like there are not gonna be a good discussion, so I just brought them on Copium, and then we are gonna discuss every one of those cards right there. And before we start with the discussion, let's talk about how is the format right now before the release of Infinity Forbidden. So of the Super Peludo spreadsheet, we have the total of tops in 11 weeks. And as you can see, the Snake Eyes is the most dominant deck by a lot. Especially if you note that the Snake Eyes and the Fire King, they are in separate breakdowns. So if you add them, you have way more Snake Eyes than everything else. So we also have Tenpais, we also have Voiceless Voice, Branded, Melodious, Stun, Labyrinth, Yubel, Kashtira, Unknown, and Salamangreat. And then on Infinity Forbidden, basically, the most important release is of course the Fiendsmith cards. They are gonna pretty much shake up the metagame, and they are gonna be very good additions for the Zeikai deck and also for the Yubel deck. So they are gonna be very good supports for 2 of the decks that are already most performing, because this is the total of tops in 11 weeks, but Yubel hasn't been available in now of those weeks. So it's a very recent deck that is already putting a lot of results. So with that being said, let's first discuss about how can we fix this format before we get the Fiendsmith cards and how I would do so. I feel like they are not gonna kill the Snake Eyes engine right now. So a good way to start things up is with the limit of Snake Eye Ash. I feel like this is pretty much standard for everyone, but Snake Eye Ash is of course the best normal summon of the game right now. These cards can basically achieve you anything you want, and if we limit them, then cards like Bonfire, for example, are gonna become less powerful, because they will most likely just going to add the Snake Eye Ash. They are not gonna work as consistency and as an extender if you draw both of your engines. So I feel like limiting the Snake Eye Ash, it's already gonna put a bit of the consistency of the deck going down. And then I feel like there is no reason to change on Snake Eye Poplar. I feel like the card is way more weak than Snake Eye Ash. The combos are way more weak if you start with Snake Eye Poplar. So I feel like we can just keep it as it is, and then we can try to discuss about the Snake Eye Oak. I feel like right now the Snake Eye Oak is one of the most bannable cards if you wanna hit Snake Eyes decks, but you don't wanna kill them, because then you are still gonna be able to play with your Snake Eyes strategy, you are still able to play your Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, for example, but then you have less resilience over your combo, you have less ways to play under your opponent's interactions with your Snake Eyes. So I feel like right now, the banlist we are trying to get needs to power level. The power level of the format is right there, and we need to go way down. And I feel like if we try to cut some ways to play of the Snake Eyes strategy, I feel like this is gonna be the best decision, so we can have at least a playable format. And then, okay, there is the problem that if the Snake Eyes strategy is less powerful, then everyone is gonna play for Yubel, but then we can also discuss some hits for Yubel. I feel like there is no point on changing Flamberge. Right now, the people are playing 2 Flamberges, mainly players are playing 1 Flamberge, and I don't feel like they are gonna destroy the Snake Eye, because if you wanna just kill the Snake Eye strategy, you pretty much just ban Flamberge and it's most likely solved. But since they are not wanting to cut the Snake Eyes deck from the format, I feel like they are not touching the Flamberge right now. Jabel Star is a card that I feel like they are not gonna change because of the announce of the Quarter Century Bonanza. If you haven't seen this, basically we have a new Heritage Collection, and this is gonna bring us Super Polymerization, Promethean Princess, and Jabel Star the Black Witch. So they are most likely not hitting cards that are gonna be reprinted soon. So we can also put into the discussion the Promethean Princess and the Super Polymerization. These are cards I feel like Promethean Princess and Super Poly, they need to be hit, but won't be hit because of the new Heritage Collection. And yes, I know, Super Polymerization right now is not a big problem. We don't have problems right now with Super Polymerization, but the card still a lot of very powerful board breaker. It's very stupid card, and I feel like the card doesn't need to be actually doing something right now to be problematic and we can ask to ban them. I feel like Super Poly is a very bannable card, but not right now. And then I also feel like Wanted is a card that right now can be limited. This card is the best way to access your Jabel Star engine, because if you are going to go for Jabel Star, the Wanted draw on the end of your combo is also getting you back the resource you need to spend to summon your Black Witch. So Wanted going to 1, it's going on the line of making the deck less consistency, and then your combos, if you are going for your Black Witch combos, you are gonna need to hard draw the Black Witch. You are not gonna get your draw. You are still getting a one-off, so you can set off Black Witch if you want to, but you are not getting into this resourceful loop. So I feel like putting it to 1 is a very fair decision. Well, Divine Temple I feel like it's not gonna be changed, as well the original Sinful Spoil. I feel like original Sinful Spoil could be changed at some point, but I don't feel like it's the point right now to change this kind of cards. Zelanges and Rage Phoenix, even though I feel like people don't like this kind of combo, I like them. I feel like the lines you can get with them, they are very strong, and I don't feel like anyone actually has a problem with them being able to finish games. I feel like all the problem is everything else that is going up with this kind of lines. But for example, if it wasn't a Snake Eye deck playing this line, if it was just a Tenpai Dragon deck playing this line, would you have any problem with these two cards? I feel like no, so I don't feel like they should change these cards. The Keyring is another card that they pretty much are not gonna change. I feel like Keyring is like a bad card, like we don't even have enough Fire King representation so we can complain about Keyring, so yeah, just like don't change the card. And then Bonfire, I feel like Bonfire is a card that needs to be hit but won't, and especially if you are putting your Snake Eye Ash to 1, I feel like the power of the card is already going down, because right now Bonfire can work as an extender and as a starter, because if you open, for example, with Black Witch or Snake Eye Ash plus a Bonfire, you just save your Bonfire in your hand so you can Bonfire for Poplar later, and that's gonna be good enough for yourself. So that's what, in my opinion, I feel like if you make other hits on the Snake Eye part of the deck, I feel like you don't need to actually hit your Bonfire. So that's pretty much how I would take a look on the Snake Eye deck. I feel like we need something more powerful, but I don't feel that Konami is going to do so. And this isn't a Banlist about what I wish they will do. This is more likely what they are going to do, thinking on a way that Konami would do things. So I feel like this is something they could do. And then for the Tenpai Dragon, even though the deck is the second most powerful deck, I don't think they actually are gonna change anything in Tenpai right now. Because even if the deck is very strong, and in fact it is, the deck is still getting supports on the new collection, and the deck is not that problematic, especially right now with the release of Fiendsmith stuff. I feel like we are not gonna hear a lot of Tenpai in this new format, so I think there are no reasons to just like touching Tenpais. And about Branded, I feel like Branded is a deck that a lot of people on the community complains about the deck. Like, I'm also part of this. I hate Branded. I feel like this deck is very, very unfair. But I don't think the way to change in Branded is by hitting your copy of Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, because then you can just go and look for another ways to lock your opponent out of the game just by activating a single copy of Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion is a card that needs to be hit, but I don't think it will be, because right now I feel like we can discuss about the ban of Albion. Yes, of course, Branded is a deck that is not putting way many numbers. Like, we have Branded right now as the 5th best deck, as the 6th best deck of the format. So, is a deck that is like the 5th best option, the 6th best option, worth enough to be on a ban list? I feel like the Branded deck, it's more about how unfunny it is to play, how it's always bad to play against your opponent if they are unbranded. Like, the gameplay by itself is not fun, so I feel like if they are going to do a ban list unbranded, it's more because how unfun it is to play against branded, because how strong it is. So Beatrice is a card that needs to go. Yeah, I know. The new Fiendsmith cards can access you a lot of your stuff. You can pretty much go and use it to link climb, you can use it to get into your DDD to protect yourself from Nibiru, but the most problematic way to go with your Fiendsmith stuff is 100% with Beatrice, because this is a card that can connect you a lot of your engines. If you are playing, for example, your Snake Eyes strategy, you are going to Beatrice and then you are going for Promethean Princess to reborn back your Snake Eye Ash. So to have any kind of decent format with the Fiendsmiths, we need to banish Beatrice, because then the Fiendsmith, they are gonna work most likely as a adventurer token engine, and right now the adventurer token engine isn't very problematic. So if we cut the card that lets you to connect into all your engines, I feel like the cards are gonna be less problematic. They are not gonna be fair, they are not gonna be healthy, but it's a better format without Beatrice than with Beatrice. So yeah. Ostinato, I feel like it's the card that's not gonna be changed right now. It's a very strong card. If Ostinato resolves, you are pretty much gonna win the game. But we don't have enough Melodious putting up results. The deck is very bad against the new approach of Snake Eyes Board Breaker, and I think this approach is gonna be way more popular. Cards like Dark Ruler Noir are gonna to go all up to the sky with the new format. And even if you can argument about how you hate to play against the Snake Eye Melodious, this deck simply isn't popular, so, and you have to play a lot of bricks to take the full power of the Melodious cards, so pretty much there is no reason to change anything right now on the Melodious stuff. Then about the Runick stun, I feel like I would love to like banish all the Runick cards, but they are not the main issue right now, so they are most likely not gonna be changed. And as so, I feel like the Kashtira cards, they can be touched right now. I don't think they will touch on the Kashtira Unicorn, but I feel like they can limit Kashtira thing here right now, because as we can see right now on the Snake Eyes approach of Kashtira version, we see a lot of decks already playing the Kashtira cards. So if you can cut the thing here to one copy, you are not gonna hit this kind of decks that wanna play Kashtira as a secondary engine, but they are gonna hurt a lot players who are just willing to use the Kashtira thing here as a one card strong players, because you don't have then your follow-up guaranteed by just one copy of Fenrir. And then now talking about more generic extra deck stuff, I feel like they are not gonna touch the Spilliron Knight. And I gotta say, I like Spilliron Knight a lot, so I don't feel like they need to change this card. But that's a very different case for IP Masquerena and Apollousa. We are kinda close of the release of Heritage Collection 2, and those two cards got reprinted on Heritage Collection 2. But as they did, they also reprinted on Heritage Collection 1 Borreload Savage and Baron de Fleur. So I feel like we are getting very close to the ban of Apollousa and the ban of IP Masquerena. I don't even think we actually need to ban IP Masquerena, but Apollousa is 100% bannable card. IP Masquerena we could see about that needs to be hit, but won't. Apollousa is the last of the generic negates from your extra deck. We banished Baron, they banished the copy of Borderlord Savage, and I feel like they just didn't ban Apollousa at that moment because it was going to be reprinted on Heritage Collection. So now that some time have been passed, I feel like it's the time to ban Apollousa. This card had to be banned, like, but I feel like if they didn't ban this card with the release of Centurion, I don't feel like they are gonna ban it right now. So I guess it's gonna be one needs to be hit but won't. And then Thunder Dragon Colossus, I feel like we don't change, we keep it as one. But being realistic, if we look, for example, for a Thunder Dragon deck, it's the only deck that actually wants to play more than a copy of Thunder Dragon Colossus, because all other decks, like Ritual Beast for example, that just wanna access the Colossus, they are just playing one copy anyway. So the take on Colossus is, are you afraid of multiple Colossus fields? Because that's basically what Thunder Dragon is willing to do. So even though I don't want them to change Colossus, because to me Colossus would still be banned, I feel like they are gonna give us more copies on the next ban list. Now, about the floodgates, Skill Drain has to be banned. Like, there is no way we survive with Skill Drain in the format. Even if we watch everything we have right now, they are starting to ban the floodgates. They banished the copy of Summon Limit, so I feel like they are also gonna ban the Skill Drain. And then we are everyone just going to play Deck Lockdown soon. Deck Lockdown is a card that needs to be hit, but won't. The same can go for Dimensional Barrier. I feel like Anti-Spell is gonna be banned as well as with Skill Drain. I feel like they didn't ban the Anti-Spell because it was getting reprinted, but now that we have passed some time, likewise the Appaloosa, we are gonna ban the Anti-Spell. Chivalry, yeah, I would prefer to be banned, but yeah. And now I have to do my bad argument, my bad hot take. I feel like Dimensional Shifter is a card that doesn't deserve to be changed right now. I can make a video just looking to this and looking in depth about how I don't think Dimensional Shifter needs to get hit on Banlist, but if you want to see my full argument on this, please just leave a comment down below so I can like prepare myself to make a video about it, because I feel like right now this card is the only option that some decks that are not the Snake Eye, Fiendsmith kind of deck can try to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. So I feel like that's why they are not gonna change the Dimensional Shifter. Harpy's Featherstorm, again, if they didn't ban this card when the deck of Flounders was most popular, I don't feel they are gonna ban this card right now. But it looks like pretty much as the synchro guy, because needs to be banned, it's not gonna be. Sucks. Point of Prosperity, I feel like we are going towards to limit this card, especially after the reprint. I feel like this card was supposed to be limited a long time ago, but right now seems to be the best time to do so, because we are right after the reprint. We have got a lot of time after the reprint, so it might be fair to just limit Prosperity right now. Crossout Designator don't need to be hit. I feel like this card is weird. We are gonna get more copies of Summon Sorcerer and Plush Fire because of the Ratas. We are gonna get more copies of Keyring because the card did nothing on the format. And then Heavy Storm is weird. I feel like we don't change on Heavy Storm. I feel like it needs to be banned, but I wouldn't complain to have more options against stun decks. But Pancratops is a card that's probably going to 3, and Lightning Storm, to me, I would like to see this card at 3, but I feel like it's not something that they are gonna do. So if you wanna see my full take on what I think the ban list has to be, so we have some kind of playable format, I feel like it has to be something like this. If you agree, if you disagree about anything, please just give me a comment down below, leave a comment down below, and I really wanna hear everyone's opinion on this, because I feel like the next format is gonna be so bad that we need this kind of list that is taking at least 10 cards out of the game. So yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching. Please again like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and see you next video. Goodbye.